Glad that you are here with me today. Um, whether you are live or on replay, you have come here at the right time, at the right day to talk to us, to talk to me about self-love and grief. It's one of those things where it's hard to ever decide whether this is the right time or the right words. But I've decided that during this time, we're going to forget about all of that. We're not going to worry about if it's the right time. We're just going to talk about how we can take care of ourselves. So, before we start, can you agree with me that you are going to be gentle with yourself, honest and open, and maybe even a little bit vulnerable? If you can do that, put yes in the comments. So, I'm going to ask you, are you someone who is dealing with grief? And it's not just grief, but it's that confusion that comes in that quiet space where your head knows, but your heart still hurts. It feels unfamiliar to just take a break and just not understand why the two don't connect. If this feels familiar with you, if you can resonate with that, just take a slow, deep breath with me right now. You don't need to close your eyes. Just soften your shoulders for a moment. You don't have anything to figure out right now. You just need to be right here with me, present. Can you put "I'm here" in the comments? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Stacy Niedenthal, and for over a decade, I have worked as an evidential medium, a spiritual translator. I have facilitated retreats, both grief retreats and spiritual awakening. I've mentored students, and I'm an author of 2 books. And I've spent years sitting with grieving hearts, listening to what grief feels like from every side, including my own. And I want to share something with you today that is simple but powerful. And that is that grief and self-love can coexist. Sometimes you just need to give yourself a hug, a moment of clarity. So we're going to talk about how those can coexist. Because the truth is, grief has no timeline. It doesn't make an appointment with you. It arrives, it rearranges everything. Your head understands what it understands. It understands that it happened. But your heart is still trying to make sense of the silence that follows. And whether your loss came suddenly, through illness, addiction, suicide, or in a way that there really just are no words for, this is the space for you. Put "me" in the comments. And here's something that I want to say clearly to you. You are not grieving wrong. And self-love, it's not selfish. Grief is love with nowhere to go. I'm sure you've heard that time and time again. It's this unfamiliar feeling that is within us that we don't know how to navigate because we've never lost this person before. There's no rule book. And self-love during grief is not bubble baths and mantras and staying positive. It's being gentle with yourself when the ache shows up. It's letting yourself cry without apologizing. It's not rushing your healing to benefit other people's timelines. You know those 3 days off you get of work and then everything should be good in the kingdom? It's not. And it's refusing to shame yourself because you're still hurting. Because grief doesn't just take someone that you love. It can take your softness too. The softness that you offer to yourselves. And when you're not gentle with yourself, guess what? Grief will expose you. Because loss can bring guilt and anger and bring up questions that you have no answers to. It brings you outward into memories, into regret, into the what ifs. You know, I often thought stages of grief, when I get through them, when I acknowledge them, when I'm mindful of them, I'll be fine. But I wasn't. I had to be gentle with myself, to show self-love, to come back to me. Instead of asking, why am I still hurting? Self-love says, what do I need right now? What do you need right now? Put it in the comments. Is it space? Is it comfort? Is it time? It's instead of saying, I should have been stronger than this. Self-love is saying, I survived these changes. Grief reshapes who you are. You're not the same person that you were before the loss. And self-love means transforming into what's becoming, who you're becoming, instead of saying, I want to go back to how it was. And sometimes during grief, self-love simply means this: treating yourself the way you would treat a friend whose life just shattered. And although grief is hard to put into words, I'm going to try to explain it based on some of the ways it's been explained to me through readings. So it can sometimes feel like a song that stopped mid-lyric, and your heart still knows the melody, but the music isn't playing anymore. And self-love is letting yourself hum the melody anyway. Sometimes it feels like standing in front of a door that you've opened every day of your life, and you reach for the handle only to realize it's not going to open again. Or that last text message. You know, the one that you read over and over and over again, hoping that the words will change. Self-love is not blaming yourself for reaching for the door or for allowing yourself to close the phone. It doesn't mean you're walking away from them. It's also reaching for the cold side of the bed, and you're reaching without thinking. And then all of a sudden, that silence hits you. Self-love is just allowing yourself to be in that moment. And the metaphor that resonated the most with me, it was so simple, I almost overlooked it. There's 3 dots mid-sentence. It's called an ellipsis. Funny how the name even sounds like you're sliding out of control. But it's that pause where one thought stops and another thought begins. But during this, the rest of the words never came. That's what grief can feel like. ... Our minds try to complete it, but our hearts keep listening for the rest. It's the I love yous that get no more echoes, the apologies that never happened, the questions that go unanswered, the future that literally ended mid-sentence. And self-love is learning to live in those unfinished sentences without forcing the story to make sense. For me, it felt like I was reading this beautiful book, and then I discovered that the last chapter was missing. And you flip through the pages hoping that you're going to miss something or hoping that you miss something. But eventually you realize that that ending, that chapter is never going to come. And self-love is accepting that you're never going to read that final chapter, while still honoring the love in the chapters earlier. It's allowing the story to stay unfinished, ... and not throwing the book away. I'd like to share something with you. Is it okay if I share something? Put yes, share. So a few years ago, a grieving mother came to me for a reading. We'll call her Jill. Her adult son had passed unexpectedly, and now she was raising her grandson, his son. And what she missed the most about her son weren't even the big moments. It was the simple things. Talking to him about her day, hearing from her son what her grandson was doing, sharing those little things that only a parent understands. And during the session, her son came through and said, "Keep telling the story, Mom." So I gently suggested to her to write him a letter. Well, a few months ago, she came back for another session. And she told me something that honestly stayed with me. She told me that she had been writing him letters almost every night, telling him about her day, telling him things about his son and how he was growing. She was sharing the memories that she didn't want to lose. And then she said to me, and I will never forget this, "And one day, my son will read these letters, ... and he will know his daddy through my eyes. I'm telling the story." Oh my God, how powerful is that? That's what self-love during grief looks like. It isn't letting go of them. It's letting the love continue, but in a different form. And I'll tell you, there's something that's very sacred and very powerful about writing grief down, about writing those words down. It also knows that I did the best that I could. And my head even understands that why it happened sometimes. But my heart still reaches for the door handle. My heart still replays that last conversation, because you know what? My heart still hurts. My heart knows that something is missing. My head knows that the sentence ended. But my heart, it wants to keep writing in those margins. And maybe that's what self-love during grief is. It is not forcing the pages to look the way it used to. It's not pretending that those 3 dots don't exist. The head wants closure. The heart, it wants connection. And self-love during grief is not forcing the head and the heart to catch up. It's allowing both of them to exist at the same time. And this is something that I have learned while sitting with grieving hearts. Grief changed you, but hear me, hear me. It did not erase you. Even if you felt unseen, the private tears, the guilt that you don't say out loud, the questions, the questions that wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Some stories end in ... but you are still that living paragraph. Your story is still being written because of them, because of you. But here's a question I want you to be honest about. Are you afraid that if you stop replaying these unfinished sentences, if you stop holding the pain so tightly, that this means that you'll forget them? I think we've all felt that way. If I have a good day, I feel ashamed. If I have a bad day, I feel ashamed. How do I feel? How should I feel? Love does not disappear, my friend, just because the word stopped. Love continues in a way that we live. It continues the way that we remember and the way that we treat ourselves. Our loved ones would want us to embrace their love around us. If writing feels like something that could help you continue this love, a way to help you to remember, I wrote a book. My head knows, but my heart still hurts. Just like we've been talking about. And this was actually the words that came from a grieving heart that sat across from me. It made sense to me. Your head knows, but your heart still hurts. And I would like to share an excerpt with you from the book, if you would allow that. Put self-love in the comments if you would like to receive the self-love blueprint. Just put self-love in the comments. It takes you slowly, one step at a time, allowing yourself to be gentle with your heart, because you're showing self-love. Grief that didn't get to finish its sentence. You're not grieving wrong. You're grieving honestly. And that's enough. There is life after ... Put self-love in the comments, and I will send you a copy, the blueprint of self-love. So I'm thanking you all for being here with me. We've spoken about things that we may never really fully be able to explain about what grief feels like, because it's different every time. But maybe this will allow you to have the courage to remember what self-love feels like. Put self-love in the comments for that blueprint excerpt. Taken from My Head Knows, but My Heart Still Hurts. I ask that you would, oh my goodness, just be gentle with yourself. Show love to yourself when you need it, because your loved one, in spirit, would want you to live the life that you love and love the life that you lived. I hope that I offered you a safe space to land, to speak about the unspeakable ... I thank you all for being here with me, for being open and vulnerable, and acknowledging that it's okay for your head to know, but your heart to still hurt. Good night.